Okay, the weather's been pretty poor outside, so we haven't been able to film anything, although we have been skiing. So we thought we'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to look at some of the gear that we actually wear. So some of it's Christine's, some of it's mine, it's a bit of a mixture of both. First of all, we're going to have a look at the gloves. These are my gloves. So anybody, just typical winter gloves. The big differences are there are these little cuff things on. So when you take your gloves off, you can just leave them dangling. They're easy to put on. However, one of the big differences is Christine's gloves. Christine prefers a mitt, but her hands get really cold. So she has these. So these have got a battery hidden in the compartment in there, which we charge up, and it warms the glove up. So she keep her hands warm. You can turn that down if you want, or to off. And those batteries pretty much last for the day. So gloves are a key part. Next thing we'll have a look at. Sure you recognise these? I think these are my dad's favourite piece of clothing that I've got. I'm sure he wants them for himself. These are my trousers. I prefer to wear the ones with the braces because it means I don't have to keep pulling them up. They need to be a good pair for the weather because it's going to be really cold. For ski pants, they're lined inside as well and are elasticated with like a rubber type elastic, so that can grip around on your boot so you don't get in the wind blowing up there. Also, if you fall over, it might drag this bit up, but you've still got some protection. So I wear those. For a coat, this obviously isn't my coat. This is Christine's coat. Again, needs to be a coat that's really good for bad weather. They tend to have, or all of them have, for skiing, another little belt that fastens inside. So you fasten this one around inside of the coat, and this stops the wind from blowing up inside. Also, if you fall again, hopefully it doesn't ride up too far and you don't get the snow all over your back as well. So the other thing about most ski coats is on your left arm is a little pocket, and that little pocket allows you to put your ski pass. When you go through to go onto lifts or gondolas, chairs, whatever it is, you generally have to show that pass. Well, you put that pass against where the opening is to get in, and it allows you in. So you don't have to physically take that out. You can just put your arm against the sensor. So a really good coat. You don't have to wear a helmet, but we always do. I think it's an important part of being protected. Doesn't matter how good a skier you are, there's always somebody that's going to potentially crash into you, take you down. You don't know what's going to happen. There's sheet ice that's about, there's plenty of equipment that's quite sharp, so good protective helmet, and I have goggles as well. The goggles do a couple of good things. The goggles will help when it's really blowing hard and snowy, so you can see where you're going. Also, they protect when we have the sun, because the sun dazzles off the snow. Next thing, we've got a ski boot. This is a typical ski boot. This is mine. Okay, they are rigid. They're solid as a plastic. There's no real give in them at all. If you watch somebody trying to walk with one of these on, they walk quite in a funny sort of way, rolling their heel on and their toe. To put these on, there's a strap at the top and there are these buckles. These buckles, when you've put your foot in, you put your foot into the boot and then you fasten the buckles. The bottom ones don't necessarily have to be too tight, but these ones need to be quite a tight fit, and they'll hold your leg rigid. And finally, as a security measure, there's a Velcro strap at the top. So that fixed onto your foot means your foot and your ankle can't move. Christine has a very different boot. It's quite a new concept really in this type of a boot. So this one, it's the same idea as the fastenings to fasten it all in. On here, one down there. And one at the top. Giving you the same thing, and then you can tighten the boot on there. But this particular boot has a rethink to it. So what Christine can do, she's got that rigidity, but if she wants, she can pull it out of the chassis and use it as an ordinary walking boot. So there's a bit of give in that. It's a similar boot to what a snowboarder would use. Okay, I've placed the boot back in its chassis again. One thing I didn't mention is when you tighten these boots up, you use this, which is called a boa, and you push it in and tighten these down. That helps hold your foot rigid there, and then you clip these buckles across. Now let's have a look at the kit that we're going to actually use to ski with, which is a ski. All skis are pretty much the same, kind of. The thing about the skis are, you want a ski that's going to come to the height of roughly around about where your chin is the perfect length ski for you. Your ski needs to be adjusted to fit your boot. So I'll take my boot, for instance, because this is my ski, onto there. And on the side of the boot is a number. The number on this boot is 355 millimeters, 355. So what you do is we look on here, and there are number scales on there, and you find the nearest to 355 for the back and 355 for the front, and then you check, set that up. Not going to go into how you set them up. When you're putting this ski on, this is the front section, this is the back. The front section has got this slider on it, on there, and this one is tempered to meet a certain amount of force, and they'll kick out. So there's rollers in there, so when you fall over, hopefully to help so you don't break your legs, these will allow your foot to slip out or kick out of the skis. The skis, when they're in the position of open before you put your boots on, have these brakes at the bottom, so your skis can't go shooting down the hill. So if you come out of your skis, these drop down and your skis will stay where they are. Your boot, what you tend to do is you'll probably kick the ski like this to get any ice or anything off the boot. You kick it into the toe, you get it onto the back piece, and then as you stand, if I can do it, it snaps into place. And if you notice, the brake is lifted up, this is lifted up, and the ski's attached if I fall, and I fall badly, this could bang this and it will kick it open, or it will twist off. The ski can go off partly down the hill, but the brake will stop it going too far. To take the skis off, I use my pole. Some people don't use poles. I prefer to carry a pole. Just helps you along a little bit. Either into there and press, or put one ski on top of the other. And then what we do is onto there, press that down, kicks that up, brake goes down, and that lifts it off. The ski itself, this side of it, is waxed regularly. So it's cleaned, waxed, and the edges are made really sharp. So the edges are made really sharp, and that's pretty much the kit of what we use.